Hello, Top Fan Rivalry supporters. It is your boy Bill from Top Fan Rivalry. Happy Thursday. We are three-quarters of the way there for the week, and it's exciting because Mike from Heads Up Sports Cards has signed a very lucrative deal with Top Fan Rivalry, um, which is to say, maybe a T-shirt here and there, to come back in and doing Unraveling Baseball. So, Mike, welcome back. It's January. Let's get it done. I'm excited. Let's
I
do it.
feel like I feel like it's the beginning of Major League Two.
Yeah,
Like the band's back together, things are a little different,
yeah. It's
and we're ready to
Willie Mays
go.
Hayes limping. I'm a power hitter now. I'm a power hitter
I'm-
now. I'm a,
White
I'm a
Lightning
power
and
hitter.
Black Thunder.
Awesome. So everybody that followed the Unraveling the Red Sox last year, we're not going to stop doing that, but we're going to add a little bit of a different spin to it this season. We're going to unravel the Red Sox just a bit, leading up into the show, and then throughout the show, we're going to start unraveling baseball and just kind of a couple of different topics of mine. A few things that I read actually Sunday night that I think are quite interesting that um, might not be as effective this morning, but they were interesting articles on Sunday night. So, Mike, take me through the Red Sox. What do you think has happened over the course of this season, as far as
Off
this offseason?
season, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the pitching is better,
Okay.
handedly. You have to really give it up for Breslow in that regard. The additions of Garrett Crochet. We'll see if Aroldis Chapman has anything left in the tank. Walker Bueller, which we prognosticated, I do believe, would be a great landing spot for him with Boston, and that came to fruition. So, you're adding two top of the line arms to get in the mix with Bayo, with I don't even know who the rest of their rotation is going to be because there's so much. They had so many arms last year that were like, you got to see who like comes back. Is Carter Crawford going to cut it this year? I think Pavetta is still on the market as far as I know. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so Pavetta is still a free agent, not with the Red Sox, but he had to be the ace last year, and if he were to come back to Boston, he would be the solid number 4 or 5 starter for them. So, in this rotation, uh, we have Liam Hendricks coming back to help bolster the bullpen as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Giolito is also ready to be back this year. So there's some pitching, uh, to watch early in spring training and to see how the rotation kind of pans out. The prospects are all ready to go. Christian Campbell, Marcelo, Roman Anthony. Unfortunately, they shipped Kyle Teal on out with in the Garrett Crochet deal, but like uh, somebody's going to go to get that top end arm. So
Right.
uh, you know it should be fun to see those kids and what they can do in the spring. And I think that they still need a bat. They still need a bat in the lineup, and I think that there's somebody with the initials AB that is reconsidering his talks with the Red Sox. Last I had heard, so we'll see what happens on that front.
We're Trust me, we're going to talk about that. That will be a topic of conversation in this episode for show. Just because, yeah, I want to get your take on a lot of that. But do you feel that the Red Sox got better in this offseason? Do you think they're going to be more of a contender, or do you think they're going to be right where they were, or do you think there's going to be regression?
I don't think that they're going to regress. I do think that they got better. I do believe that they got better just based on the fact that they bolstered the pitching staff so well. Uh, their lineup was not like a huge issue last year, and you're going to have hopefully a full year of a healthy Casas, hopefully a healthy Story. You still have Duran. You have probably the American League's best number 9 hitter in Mookie Betts Jr., Sadan Rafaela. He can play infield, he can play outfield, wherever
Uh,
he needs to go. So just wait. We'll
Mookie
use him
Betts
up.
Jr.
We'll use him up until his rookie contract is done, and then we'll ship him out. Because apparently that's what the Red Sox do now. But uh, you know, their lineup is solid, and if they add a nice top of the lineup bat with the initials AB, then it'll be even better. So I think they're in a better position. I don't know or think that they can top the Yankees and the Orioles yet. I
Mhm.
do think the Orioles might have a little regression this year as far as they go. So we'll see what happens. They lost their top end arm in Burns, but
Mhm.
I don't really think that he was like anything that special that can't be replaced. Uh, so we'll see what happens. The Red Sox will probably be a little bit better than the 500 team that we talked about all year. But they could be 85 and 85 again.
You never, yeah, you never know. I felt like you guys got better this offseason.
Yeah.
You've added some key components to it. The Garrett Crochet thing is going to end up being very big for you guys. You throw him in there with Walker Buehler, and there you might end up having a 1-2 punch to go along with um, I'm drawing a blank. Bellum to go along
Bayo.
with Bellum.
Yeah. Bayo and
Um,
Crawford. I mean, Cutter Crawford really came into his own last season too. So like, if he's the number 4, it doesn't have to be like, if Bayo misses, we need Crawford to be the stopper. Like
yeah, no, and pitching is going to be the key. Obviously, you play in a division that you mentioned the Orioles, which I think is a team that may have regressed a bit. Toronto hasn't done much except sign Anthony Anton there. Um, we'll see how that plays itself out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, and Vlad Jr. may get traded at the trade deadline. Who knows?
Right. To Boston.
Yeah, I I still prognosticate that he's going to Anaheim. He's going to follow what his dad did after leaving Canada.
That would be
Um,
okay though too. I to see Trout and Vladdy play together, I would buy a ticket to that
yeah,
when they can come to Boston,
yeah, there you go.
without a
There you
doubt.
go.
So
Yeah, the other team, Tampa Bay is definitely regressing this year. They don't, the stadium thing. There's a lot of things there. So
yeah,
to me,
they might be a little distracted this year, but that could also be a galvanizing thing for them
yeah,
too, because they're a scrappy team. They always have been. They were right on the Red Sox heels at the end of the season. So
yeah, no, agreed. All right, so Mike, we've unraveled the Red Sox a little bit. Now let's unravel some baseball. Um, you brought up somebody with the name, the initials AB.
yep,
Okay. There's also somebody out there named or initials PA.
yes.
These guys have not signed yet. So let me tell you the articles that I read through on Sunday when I was just kind of enjoying my Sunday.
Well, just real quick before you do that, I just think that so last year we went into we went into spring training without the two biggest pitching arms
Pitching
signed
yards.
in Snell and Montgomery, right? And that caused a lot of, you know, strife within the baseball chatter community. Uh, and then, they both kind of suffered. Snell kind of turned it on at the end, but they definitely didn't come in guns blazing and ready for the season. I don't think that that offensive players, that hitters have the same sort of like uh need the same kind of off season to get up and going as
100%.
pitchers do. So, you know, with them
100%.
not signing yet, uh I mean, I think they're getting bad advice from their agent with the initials SB, but
Yeah. We're trying not to get sued here at Unraveling Baseball or Top Fan
yes, we're
Rivalry.
just talking in code.
But yeah, no, and it's so Mike, here's my issue, right? So we're talking about Alex Bregman, we're talking about Pete Alonso. They're both represented by Scott Boras. Scott Boras had the same issue with Jordan Montgomery last season and Blake Snell. Um, if you can remember correctly, JD Martinez signed late too,
Yep,
and
yep,
he struggled as a Met,
yep.
and he struggled the first couple of weeks, first
I
couple of
think
months. Um,
JD is just kind of spent anyway, but that's besides the point.
yeah, and truth be told, that very well could be the case. But
He
here's
wasn't
what
that
I
great with Dodgers the previous year, right? Like,
yeah, he had a great season with the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers were disappointed that they didn't get him back. Um, but here's so I'm reading an article on Sunday that Breckman might be going back to the Astros. And I read an article to play second base, and that Jose Altuve is willing to move to left field in order to make things happen. I don't understand the value of moving Alex Breckman from third to second. Uh, Maybe there's a throwing issue or something. I don't know. But that is one team that I think is going to struggle this year is and I read that Presley is going to be a Cub. And so
he
I'm
signed.
wondering where the
I think Ryan Presley signed, right?
yeah, he did. Was
Yeah.
traded. He was traded.
Or all right, yeah.
Yeah, traded to the Cubs. And so my argument is where is the Houston Astros? He waived his no trade clause so he can go to the Cubs. I mean, and so my argument is where's the Houston Astros? What are the Houston Astros trying to do to make their team better? Are they just put it in cruise control thinking nobody's going to catch us? We're the Astros.
I think they're just putting it kind of in cruise control.
Yeah,
It seems that way.
kind of the way it feels, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Doesn't
it
it?
really does. I mean, you haven't the only thing that you're hearing about the Astros is them losing players. And they have some guys on the farm, but like I don't think anybody that's really going to be a you know impact player. Bryce Matthews is a nice player, but I don't know that he's going to be an impact player like Pedro Leon. I think he already came up and kind of didn't really do much, and he was like their one of their top prospects. Like can't rely on guys like Gray Kessinger and like cup of coffee guys. You can't just plug them in to play alongside like Altuve. I think that Altuve and Jordan are going to be able to carry the entire team. So
Yeah. No, I trust me. I agree. I agree. It's uh, the Astros play in a division that they don't have a lot of competition. But if you ask me, the Angels won the offseason in that division this year.
oh, the Angels want to get better. Seattle is good. Texas is young and good. I mean, do we see the Angels in the bottom of that division this year, Bill? Or the Astros? Sorry, not the Angels, the Astros.
The Astros very, very well could be. Um, it would not surprise me to see the Angels make a run.
Yeah,
Uh, and the Astros. The only thing is Mike, you've been following baseball a long time, as have I. And for a team to win 20 more games than they did the season before is a huge feat, right?
sure. Yep.
That's a huge feat. The Angels were 63 and 99 last season. If they won 20 more games this season than they did last season, it only gives them 83 wins. I don't know that that's enough. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think that that's enough in that division
Mhm.
because you have
Seattle,
Seattle
Texas, and
and
Houston.
Texas.
Yeah,
I and I don't know what Houston's going to be this year, so I can't really say Houston because
yeah.
like really what are they going to be? So, but
Mm.
Texas and Seattle are both kind of juggernaut teams.
100%.
And they
100%.
stay healthy. Obviously, in the preseason and the off season, everything and every opinion that we have is, if they stay healthy, caveat.
Yeah,
But if you get
100%.
a healthy like Trout,
Hmm.
he is an ultimate difference maker.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I I agree. I agree. All right. So I want to switch gears on you here again, and I want to get your opinion on something. So for
all
those of
right,
you that don't know, Mike and I, with every other show that Top Fan Rivalry does, we put together an agenda. Mike and I have learned that we don't work well with an agenda. We just
no,
do what we're gonna do.
that's right. Off the cuff.
So, Mike, you got to vote. I'm giving you a vote. You
All
ready?
right,
Do you vote for Ichiro for the
of
Hall of Fame?
course. Yeah.
Does it not drive you nuts that one knucklehead decided that not to vote for him?
Bill, there's always going to be one in the crowd, and like Mad Dog's dogs. Mad Dog is good.
Do you vote for Cece?
Uh, does 3,000 Ks get you in the Hall of Fame?
Mm,
Because I think that's how he got in because he hit that number.
yeah, yeah. He
I
also
I don't know. Like I
he also passed 250 wins. So to me, that was maybe one of
right.
the
And
other.
you're gonna compare him to who else is in the Hall of Fame with the same similar stats, right? So, but like eye test, does CC Sabathius scream Hall of Famer to me? Like, no, not really. Is it
Yeah,
because maybe like the Red Sox just smoked him all the time? Maybe.
maybe yeah.
Not all the time, obviously, but there were plenty of games that I watched CC pitch and like I wasn't impressed enough to like,
What
from when he was a kid with the Cleveland all the way, through the end of his career. Just like, yeah, he was a nice pitcher. Like, would I want him on my team? Sure, but like, I don't know. Is Tim Wakefield a Hall of Famer?
yeah, exactly. What about Billy Wagner?
Um, Closers is such a weird like, but there was a. All right, is Eric Gagne a Hall of Famer?
Eric Gagne will never be a Hall of Famer because of the steroids.
Sure. Steroids aside, would he have been? Would he be a Hall of Famer? Would
You
like
know,
Brad Lidge be a Hall of Fame? Is Brad Lidge a Hall of Famer?
yeah, I no, neither one of those guys in my mind.
Right. And that's to me who Billy Wagner is like, like I put him with those guys. Like, did he dominate for a period of his career? Yeah.
Mhm.
But like, I think that Brad Lidge had some more high pressure wins, closes, saves than Billy Wagner did in his career.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Uh, I, Billy Wagner is one of those ones where when the save role was kind of coming and becoming more prevalent, like where people were looking at it, you knew when that bullpen gate opened and it was Billy Wagner that there was a problem.
Sure, he was a personality,
Yeah, yeah.
but like, is it the Hall of Personalities now? Because like that's kind of what it how it seems. Even with same thing with like Cece, like he was a personality of the game. But is like Big Sexy a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, no, no. Jamie
But
Moyer, Hall
but
of Famer, he
Bartolo
pitched.
is like the same thing, Like Bartolo Colon is the same thing as CC Sabathia to me. And I think that Bartolo had a longer career, if I'm not
He did.
wrong.
He did. He did. Now, I will have to say that there was a number of players that surprised me on this year's ballot that I was not happy with where they ended up. First of all, you and I both know how I feel about Dustin Pedroia. I was happy to see him get 11.5%. I think
Yeah,
it would have been a travesty if he would have gotten under 5% and
it
he
got
was off
knocked
the
off.
ballot,
Yeah.
right? That made me very happy to see that. Alex Rodriguez went up a little bit, but I am still wondering. So I'm going to read you a statistic, and you tell me if this is, in your mind, if this is a Hall of Famer.
All right.
Okay. So in your mind, is this a Hall of Famer? 214 wins.
Sorry.
300, what's that?
What was it?
No, I'm just going to read you the statistics, and then you tell me if they're a Hall of Famer. Then I'll tell you their
Okay.
name.
All right.
Okay. 214 wins, 3.81 ERA, lifetime ERA, right? ERA plus is 117. He started 580 or 18 games, pitched 3,283 and a third innings, and amassed 1,870 strikeouts. Is he a Hall of Famer?
No.
Okay. Now, would you like to know who I'm talking about?
Sure.
Mark Burley.
Yeah. Does Mark Burley get in because of he's a perfect gamer?
So that's the question. Is he's a perfect gamer. I mean, he had a number of seasons that were very good. He broke the 200 win mark, which you and I both know that 300 wins for a pitcher is going to be incredibly difficult because they just don't pitch as many years as they used to anymore. When you're making generational money after your rookie contract, you're not going to pitch 20 some odd years.
Sure.
So then that 300 becomes 200. I actually like Mark Burley for the Hall of Fame, especially for that perfect game. But numbers wise, it gets a little dicey, right?
Right. Because I think it's like 2,500 or at least 2,000 for strikeout or not. What was the last stat? Innings or strike?
Yeah, innings. Mark Burley threw 3,283 point one innings.
All right. What was the last stat that you gave me?
Oh, strikeouts,
Yeah,
1870.
1,800. 1,800.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, like
1870. Yeah. Well, and see, and
but
here's what's
Burley was a
interesting.
contact pitcher too, so like that, like he was a get the ball, throw the ball guy. Like, you know,
Well, well, and see, and here's one that I'm going to read you another one. Here's one that got almost double the amount of votes. Mark Burley got 11.4%. This guy got just over 20% of the vote. 169 wins, 3.42 ERA. Um, his he pitched 3,316 innings and had 2,448 strikeouts. He pitched 2,729 innings and had 2,524 strikeouts. Is this guy a Hall of Famer?
he's closer than Burley.
Yeah. And you know who that is? That's Felix Hernandez.
All right. I mean, yeah. King Felix is a Hall of is King Felix is one of my favorite pitchers of all time. So,
So, so I'm poking the bear here. You're saying
right,
there's a chance.
right, yeah. So, I mean, like he probably should have been a regular MVP contender
Okay.
for at least like that like '07 to 11, '08 to 11 period. Like he was like their number one guy. Him, like, if Ichiro wasn't the MVP, like it was Felix. Uh, so yeah, I mean his ERA is lower, and to me that's like a Hall of Fame stat,
Mhm.
right? Burley had a
Yeah.
3.81,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And King
Correct.
Felix with 3.42. So like
Mhm.
really, I think it should be like a 3.25. I think that should be like your Hall of Fame ERA. Uh, but
So,
So yeah,
so,
I mean, I like Felix over Burley for sure.
so I'm gonna give you one more. This one's a hitter, and I'm gonna tell you that this actually surprises me where this guy is at. Okay. 2,452 career hits, 353 home runs, 1,391 RBIs. Career batting average is 277. Is this guy a Hall of Famer? 2,452 hits, 353 RBIs.
Home runs.
I'm sorry, 300, yeah, 353 home runs.
How long did they play?
I'll tell you right now. They played They had 9 Gold Gloves, 5 All-Star appearances, 2 Silver Slugger, and they played 19 seasons.
Did they play in Toronto or in Minnesota?
Yes, sir, they did.
Man, does he have two eyes at the end of his name?
So here's the funny thing about this. This is what shocks me. That was his fifth Hall of Fame ballot, and he had 5.1% of the vote.
Is
Five,
Torrey Hunter? Yeah.
yeah, Torrey Hunter,
Yeah.
5.1%. I mean, the
He's
dude's
like
good.
real close, but like it's different for every position, and that's the fun and the beauty of the debate when you get into statistics and stuff
Yeah,
like that, because like how do his numbers compare to like Joe Mauer's numbers?
correct. Yeah, that's that. So there's your question, right? Let's pull up Joey Mauer's numbers real quick here, and we'll
Because as a
see.
catcher, Joe Mauer is a Hall of Famer.
So Joe Mauer had 150, 143 home runs, career batting average 143. I'm sorry, a career batting average of 306, but he only had 2,123 hits. So
Right,
Torrey's got 300 more hits than him and 200 more home runs.
right.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mauer got in on his first ballot.
So, like by that logic, like Torrey Hunter should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Plus, he has an iconic moment, and I
yeah,
feel like that should always be bonus points.
Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds stealing the home run from Barry Bonds. Yeah, no. I listen, Mike, when I was going through those numbers, I was just and some of these guys, their
You only
numbers
have
have gone
5%. Is that what you said? That's a
five
travesty.
5.1%. Yeah, he got 20
Travesty.
votes. He got 20 votes in this one. I'm just pulling up last year. Last year he got 28 votes. So he actually went down this year.
That's a product of the players of his generation.
Yeah, I mean, Dustin Pedroia got almost double the percentage of votes that actually Dustin Pedroia got 47 votes and Torrey only got 20.
That's man.
I that's a little to me that's a little backwards, but what do I know? Carlos Beltran went way up in the voting this year.
How did Carlos Beltran go up?
Yeah, well, I mean, the key is 435 home runs and 2,725 hits. But last year, Carlos had 220 votes. This year, he had 277 votes. So he went up by 57 votes. He just missed the Hall of Fame by about 4.5%, which tells you that probably next year's ballot or the year after, he'll get in. That
Should he?
is,
Should he?
well, see, next year's first round guys, it's not a huge first round class. You're going to see a lot of guys go up because next year's first rounds, Cole Hamels, Ryan Braun, Alex Gordon, Sin Chu Chu, Edward Encarnacion, Howie Kendrick, Matt Kemp. Like nobody that really excites you right there,
Maybe
right?
Matt Kemp.
What's that?
Maybe Matt Kemp has an outside shot, but none of those other guys.
Yeah, Matt. If Matt Kemp gets in, then there's a slew of guys that I want to get in.
Right. I don't think Matt Kemp gets in because he was
Mhm.
really good for a
Yeah.
period of time. But he is not a Hall of Famer. I mean, Ryan Braun is probably the best of that bunch, but Ryan Braun's name is so tarnished.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what I mean with Carlos Beltran. Like, does his scandal, does the scandal of Carlos Beltran weigh on? Clearly, it doesn't, but
Well, it should. I mean,
it
that's
should.
why that's why Omar Vizquel's not in, right? That's exactly why Omar Vizquel's not in because of the scandals of what he's done off the field.
Right.
I mean, it just to me, watching those numbers, Mike, was just totally it seemed backwards. There was ones that it seemed backwards. In the next couple of years, you don't have a lot of overpowering guys, so you're going to see some of the guys sneak up. You'll probably see A-Rod, you'll probably see Manny sneak up into the 50s and 60s because the next couple of seasons you really don't have big guys coming in. And the 26 class, like I said, I read you those guys. Nobody's too exciting. The only one that's exciting in 27 really is, um, well, two guys, John Lester, who you can make a good argument for, um, and also Buster Posey, right?
Buster gets in. Buster, there's
Uh, First ballot, I don't know, but
Well, I
we'll
don't know
see.
if he's the first ballot, but he's going to be pretty. He's going to get a lot of juice.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, the following year is where it gets a little ugly because the following year on the 2028 ballot, that's where Andy Pettit is in his 10th season on that. A-Rod's in his seventh, Beltran's in his sixth. But first ballot is definitely going to go to Albert Pujols, right? And
Yeah,
so, I mean, there's
yeah,
there's a lot of juice there. Anyways, we turn this into a Hall of Fame chat, but
that's all
um,
right. That's
I just
unraveling baseball.
yeah. I mean, we talked about the Astros, we talked about Orioles, we talked about that. Well, as we wrap up, what else do you think is happening this next week before we talk again?
Man, I I I think we're just going to see small things happening until right before spring training, and I think that's when Pete and Bregman and anybody else that's still not any of the bigger names that still aren't signed, which aren't many, are going to put pressure on their agents to just get deals done because at the end of the day, yeah, these guys really you know to make as much money as possible, but they also really like to play baseball. Uh, and I think that again, like the difference between like hitters and pitchers are it, I don't there's not a lot of like divas out in the field except for like Tristan Casas, who's out doing crazy things. He's like a real diva.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't see Bregman as a diva. I don't see Alonso as a diva, like holding up a team for like the most money possible. I think that like it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna be like, all right, we want to play baseball, so like you know, let's just final offers and find the best deal, and
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of people out here. I'll just read you a couple of names. There's a bunch of people out here that are still available, which I think is interesting to me that they're still available. Max Scherzer is still available. Patrick Corbin, Pete Alonso, we talked about. Alex Bregman, we talked about.
Patrick
But
Corbin's done. He's washed.
yeah, Charlie Morton, Anthony Rizzo, Kenley Jensen, um, Jack Flaherty. Um, there's some
That's
good guys that are still out there. Ross Stripling, JD Martinez, we talked about him a bit, but there's a lot of guys that are still available that are, it's interesting to see that they haven't signed yet, right? Um, and, Martin Maldonado, for example, it's reported that he's going to sign an MLIB contract with the Padres, but he's still out there. Um, Connor
I
Joe,
do
Joey
think that
Gallo.
like they're playing the waiting game and whatnot, but I think as we get closer to like when spring training comes, that's when we'll see a lot. Got teams will see what they have, what they need, what they're looking for. Do like a final assessment of their rosters, and that's when we'll see some of these guys getting if getting signed and getting into camps sooner than later. Except
100,
Patrick Corbin, he's done.
yeah.
He
One
hasn't been good since 2019.
100%. And I mean, you still got guys out there like Mr. Humility, Alex Verdugo.
The Nationals were begging for Patrick Corbin's contract to expire.
Yeah. Uh, um, Kim over in San Diego, who's still not signed. Adam Frazier can still get it done. Yeah, but you're right. Patrick Corbin is he's gonna be the guy that's gonna be walking down the street one day and somebody's gonna say, well, what do you do for a living? He goes, I used to play baseball.
I used to play baseball. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
but
actually uh, I used to work with somebody that knew Patrick Corbin, whose daughter was friends with his wife, so they went to his wedding. And I was like, "Oh, that's too bad. Tell him that he sucks now."
but these guys make generational money now, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
You
right. Yeah,
you get a 3-year, $30 million deal, you get it to the right, put in the right people's hands. And I mean, think about it, right?
yep,
You're
right,
30 years old and you got 30 mil tickets sitting in the bank.
yep.
I think you
And you
should
can
be
go rip
fine
baseball
with it.
cards for a living like Phil Hughes,
There, there you go. There you go. Why aren't they part of our breaks, man?
right?
Daggone it. We need to get them in our breaks. So
And
okay, as we wrap this up, everybody, remember Mike. Um, remember Mike and I do the show every other week. Mike runs a group called Heads Up Sports Cards, big on Facebook. Go check him out. Big on Instagram as well. He does breaks. It feels like 3 times a night. I mean, I'm always seeing your stuff coming through, and I love it. And I always take a look at it and everything. Mike and I have concluded that every other Wednesday we'll announce a new card break, and every other Friday. So tomorrow, after you're listening to this tomorrow, there will be a card break. Go into topfanrivalry.com, go into the team store, and see if there's any teams left over. Uh, if you buy 2 teams, just so that you know, if you buy 2 teams, that second team qualifies you to get a or enter into a drawing for the Lane Thomas auto rookie over in St. Louis. So that's awesome. Mike,
Yep.
anything you want to wrap up and say about Heads Up Sports Cards or the box breaks or anything?
So one of the reasons why I love box breaking and stuff like that is that it really gives me the opportunity to learn so much about all the different teams and all the players on all the teams. So that's a great uh educational tool. To know like as many players as I can because like obviously I know and I love the Red Sox and but I don't know a whole lot about like or I usually wouldn't know a whole lot about the Royals or like the Reds because I'm not in those markets. But because of box breaking, like I really have learned to love a lot of those teams. Um, and to find out about like the rookies and the young players and get excited to know about a lot of the young talent in the league
Right.
kind of before the mainstream before they hit the big time the mainstream so it's really cool, it's a lot of fun, and if you like autographs and stuff like that, we always do box breaks that guarantee some sort of autograph, so everybody has an opportunity because you never know what's coming out of the box. And if your team isn't there, you can still grab a team, and then you can. There's a great business of sports cards as well, which is conversation for another time for us, Bill. We won't get into that now, but that is out there as well as an opportunity in sports cards. But it's just a lot of fun. And this is a great way to continue to grow and enjoy the top fan community. So I'm definitely appreciative of you, Bill,
Thank you.
for the opportunity and to work with you and to have these conversations about baseball because I think we have a lot of fun doing them for sure. So
100%, 100%. No, I appreciate you too. It's been so much fun, and it's one of the things that I'm learning, Mike, is there's two generations. The two generations below us are now getting into baseball cards, and I had
oh yeah,
breakfast
they
a
usually have
week.
better cards than I do.
Yeah, and I had breakfast a week and a half, 2 weeks ago with the guy that I grew up with, that I played Little League baseball with when I was 8 years old. And I had breakfast with him and his son, and um, his son was so excited about the box breaks. Like he's like, I can't wait to get this. I can't wait to get this, Dad. Let's go. And they're huge Yankees fans, so he always tells me, he's like, send me a text message like 5 minutes before it's gonna go live. And I said, I'm doing this with like 5 other Yankee fans,
Yeah,
so
right.
like I'm sorry, they're gonna be gone. It's like bing, 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 bing. So,
Right. By the
anyways,
time I send you the text message, they're going to be gone. But you know
yep.
what? That's so awesome. And that's what another thing that's really exciting. Over at Heads Up Sports Cards, we run a really family friendly, uh, type show.
Mhm.
And I have friends of mine that whose kids are now into sports cards too because they're starting to get old enough, and they do it together. So, it's a great generational thing. It's a great bonding thing, as well. If your kids are into cards or just getting into baseball, uh, it's a lot of fun to do together. So
100%, 100%. Well, Mike, we're gonna do this again in 2 weeks. I appreciate it. Let's just keep our heads, as they would say on the East Coast, above water,
that's
and
right.
we'll just have a good time, right?
That's definitely how we're gonna roll.
All right, my
Lots of
friend.
fun as always, Bill.
Talk to you soon.